Well, I'm back here again with my 1968 Sears Suburban 12 diesel project, and I'm just about ready to start it. I did a bunch of work over the past couple of days. The last video I showed how I was going to route my exhaust. So I got my exhaust all plumbed up where I want it now. Got the bolts on the flange tightened down. I got my intake how I want to run it. And this was a lot of tinkering and figuring and thinking. And what I ended up with was 1 inch 90-degree elbow that I trimmed the flange off so I could suck it in inside of the hood, and hopefully it won't hit the hood very much. Then I ground it down on this side to make it smooth so it won't rub the hood so bad. Close pipe nipple, another 90-degree bend, a 90-degree street elbow, which keeps this really close to the other elbow. And then I have a close nipple here with an exhaust adapter. And I'll put the information about this exhaust adapter in the video here. And then what I did with the adapter was drill the hole all the way through it, and I put a 5/16 bolt through it. And on the inside of this exhaust adapter, I have an eyelet bolt that goes all the way up through the top of this and bolts on the top. And this air filter actually fits perfectly on that exhaust adapter. And this is a Troy-built air filter. There's the model number 937-05066. And it fits perfectly on that exhaust adapter. I think this is what I'm gonna go with, at least for now. I didn't weld any of this stuff up yet because I might end up changing the air filter, but I haven't quite decided yet. So I got all that stuff done. I cleaned up the bolts and everything on my fuel tank. I put nuts on the back of those like I said I was going to do in a previous video, so this tank is now very solid. Got my brackets all bolted on here, and this was where the original nipple went onto the top of the antifreeze return tank. I put a plug in there. I drilled and tapped the opposite side of it so I could actually have the hose run right out of the engine, the return line back into the top of this. And then I modified the cap a whole heck of a lot. Basically, I took the rubber seal off the bottom. I just basically bent all the corners of this thing over. It looks really janky, but it works really good now because my return line comes in there, and I had to grind that down with a stone, and it kind of has like a ramp shape on it. So when I put this cap on now, that bottom spring-loaded piece that would normally seal against the bottom of the filler neck is kind of on an angle like this. So it allows the fuel to go right back into the tank, and the cap's nice and loose. So I should have some good vent on that. So I shouldn't have any issues with the fuel. And then coming out here, the side of the tank, this was a 3/8 nipple. So I ended up taking this brass T. I plugged one end, put a 3/8 nipple on one end, a 5/16 on the other. Ran the fuel line down here into a filter because I know I got some crud in this tank when I ground that aluminum fitting down. And then the line goes right into the motor to the injector pump. So I am ready to try starting this thing. I'm gonna set up my tripod and give it some pulls. This thing hasn't run in probably 2 years, but it should start right up. So let's see what it does. I'm hoping my tripod doesn't fall over because it's kind of janky, and the way the legs are set up, it's not the perfect angle. It's raining out, so hopefully my phone doesn't get too soaked, but I'm going to pull the compression release on this, and right now I don't have the throttle set up, so when it starts up, it's just gonna go to full throttle, whatever that is, 3,700 RPM or something, but I just wanna see if I can get it running. It has been a while since I've had it running. Let's see what we can do. Throttle on, decompression lever. Oh, she is gonna run. Right now there's air in the fuel line, so I expect it to take a few pulls. Promising. It's not quite there yet, but I didn't put a lot of fuel in this, and the fuel line is kind of janky, so I may need to put more fuel in, but it started on the 3rd pull, so that's definitely promising. Let's go again. for a second. I don't know why it conked out again. Not real happy right now. Kind of weird. Kind of weird. It also could potentially be because I restricted the airflow with this 1-inch pipe on the inlet. I could always open it up, but that's a possibility because it can only pump out as much air as it can pump in too. Yeah, it's running out of fuel. That stinks. And it is possible that shutoff solenoid is causing a problem. That only allows the throttle to go out a little bit, and it's not much at all. I also noticed that I had a leak on my fuel line, so I stuck 2 zip ties on it to try to fix that. Maybe it was the leak that was the problem and it was sucking air. I'm hoping that's it. Let's see.
Many unbearable moments later.
Wow. Well, it's running. Definitely had some air in the line. I'm still not too fond about how I have the fuel lines run. I'm gonna have to figure out something better for that. She runs, but oh my goodness, is this thing loud. It is loud. It is very loud. I've said before, part of the reason you need that big air cleaner, the factory air cleaner on these, is because it actually acts as an intake silencer. The air coming into the intake on these is almost louder than the exhaust, but certainly with this pepper shaker on this thing and this particular air filter, this thing is loud. I do need to do some work on it to finish it up. I think, I don't even know if I have a drive belt for it. I'll have to look. I'm not sure I do. I don't think I have any 81-inch drive belt, so I'm gonna have to order a drive belt for it. I think I need a couple extras anyway because some of my other tractors need them, but it is running. It'll be driving very soon, and you'll see that on the next, maybe the next edition of Cranky Motorsports. Thanks for joining me on this crappy rainy day. It's not too hot though, so it's a good day to work, and she's running. Runs good. It is loud. The exhaust and the intake on this, they're loud. Definitely got to address that. But I'll get to it at some point. Thanks again for watching another edition of Cranky Motorsports. Tune in next time for more work on this guy. I probably need to put a heat shield around the exhaust so I don't melt my fuel line because it's about 1.5 inches away. And I might be putting a stack on this because it is too loud. It is too loud. Yep. Seems a little bit sluggish too when it when it throttles up. So we'll see. But it is running. It's running pretty good.